my wife's a retired officer too, and she remembers, is kind of like shoot, don't shoot situation. So here's an officer strolling down the pathway in a park, and ahead of him is a woman pushing a baby carriage, and as she gets alongside the officer, she pulls the gun out and shoots him. Okay.
Wait.
Yeah. Got to be wary. Yes. You got to be wary at all times. People out there hate you and they want to kill you. Well, yeah. What does it do? I mean, so do you talk to? Well, you got to watch out. You don't want to have a conversation with a lady with a baby carriage. Maybe she hates cops and she's going to shoot me. I mean, it is that type of atmosphere that is, change the hearts and minds of thousands of police officers. And it's there's another training out there that's around the circuit now. A guy who I think is a retired Army guy. It's like there's sheep, the sheepdogs and the wolves. There's wolves that you got to be out there. You got to be that tough sheepdog that keeps the wolves away and knows how to bite them.
Right. And what do you think? I mean, so you're saying that you never saw that culture ever change in terms of being less militaristic. If anything, it just became more and more militaristic over your 60-year career.
Yeah, I think that's what it's looked like, and I think that it would be fair to say that is a trend that has happened in most large and medium-sized American cities since 9/11. 9/11 was a real major change, I think, in the attitude and the kind of orientation of America globally as well as internally in the domestic scene. We have military weapons. We went from in 60 years. So what does this look like technology? Okay, my first training coming out of the Marines was I rode with a sergeant for 5 days. And at the end of that 5 days, he said, well, you got a couple days off. When I came back to work 2 days later, he gave me the keys to the car, a ticket book, a map of the city, and a state statute book, and said, okay, your car number, whatever it was. And I took off driving out of the police station.
Right. So
thankfully, nothing ever challenged me. Thankfully, I had a chance to. So okay. So what the radio was in the car, no personal radio. I didn't have body armor, and I had a revolver with 6 shots in it. Fast forward to today. Police car with all kinds of technological equipment, personal radios, taser, semi-automatic pistol with multiple clips of ammunition that can be easily exchanged to try to take the 6 rounds out of a revolver and reload under pressure is a major physical and mental task. And so when you go to work and you get out of the car and you're maybe half a block away talking to people, I mean, you better have some social skills, because you go irritate people there. They're gonna whoop your butt. You've got that emergency radio. You can just push that thing and get an alarm, and people are going to know exactly where you are geographically and come to your aid. Yeah. When you're all by yourself out there, and you're away from your car, which your radio communication is, right. You better have some emotional intelligence
just to deal with the community and not create problems and not be the villain in situations.
That's right.
How do you think, where do you think overall there's room for hope in policing? You know, is it smaller communities, are the big communities going to be kind of the most pain in the ass to change kind of thing?
Yep.
So that's why it's small, or what? Like, where do you think? Because everything's not going to change overnight.
Yeah,
right?
That's right. Well, accountability would make a really big difference. There have been, we got a national police union, the Fraternal Order of Police. We know where they stand politically, and they make a big difference when you have an active union, when you've got a union contract that prohibits a police officer from being interviewed if he or she has used deadly force for a period of hours, which requires disciplinary records to be not available to the public, who talks about restricting the police chief from just about firing anybody in any circumstances.
Right.
There's that whole side of the thing, and then there's this crazy Supreme Court decision in Graham v. Connor, which talks about reasonable objectiveness, and essentially that boils down to, if you can prove to the court that you were frightened of your life, regardless of what outside experts may say, you get a pass. You get a pass.
Because you believe that you were being reasonable, correct?
Yes, that's right. Objective reasonableness, it's called, and it is. But even with that, police departments could still raise the standard. When I went to Madison in 1972, the state law, and most state laws throughout the nation, gave police the authority to use deadly force in apprehending any fleeing felon, regardless of the crime. Okay, so we quickly figured out that, hey, we don't want our police officers shooting at stolen cars as the kids run away, and they're usually always kids. And in theft situations and maybe burglaries and stuff, when people run away, we just don't want police shooting them in the back. So we made a rule, said you may not use your weapon, you may not use deadly force in these situations unless you can prove that this is a fleeing, dangerous felon that was going to harm the life of another person. So that raised the standard big time. Okay, the law permitted this. So I couldn't take a police officer who violated that policy and say, take him to the DA, and the DA would say, wait a second, that's not against the law. So I would just have to fire them. And I don't think I ever had to, because we said this is the rule and we're going to enforce this rule. And I was lucky enough to have a cadre of leaders with the organization that says, yeah, we'll back that up, Chief.